Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another, the first Innistrad Midnight Hunt draft. So yeah, we're gonna play some Innistrad Midnight Hunt. See, whenever you cast an Innistrad sorcery, make a 2/2 zombie creature token with Decay. Creature tokens you control lose all abilities and have base power and toughness. 3/3. That seems really strong, and it's just a reward for casting tokens, and it's a 3 mana 2/3, which is not a terrible rate. So we're gonna try doing some mad science. I love Innistrad. Original Innistrads when I first started playing the game. I actually started playing the game the day after Avacyn Restored came out. So I'm a huge fan of the feel of Innistrad. It's what suckered me into the game initially. And zombies are my favorite tribe. Out of all of Magic, zombies are my favorite. And by a pretty large margin. So we're just going to see if we can't draft a deck around Poppet Stitcher, really. So let's see. Nebelgast Intruder is a 3-mana 2/1 flash flyer with when it enters the battlefield, up to one target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-0 until end of turn. So this is a combat trick on a creature. We're kind of looking for non-creature spells, but that's not bad. There's a Mind Rot that gives us a zombie token, which kind of a fan of. There's a 3-mana 2/2 flyer that makes a 2/2 with Decayed. I think I'm going to go with the Mind Rot first out of those, which is a little bit interesting. Maybe not the thing I should be doing, but there's a Delver of Secrets. I do like Delver of Secrets, because we are trying to draft the instant and sorcery deck. This is an uncommon. I think Delver was originally a common. I think it's been upgraded. It might have been an uncommon. I don't remember. Secrets of the Key seems like something we'd want to play. It makes tokens, this only counts creature tokens, right? But it's a spell that's on color. It has flashback, so it's got some extra value. Duress isn't bad either, but I'm gonna take the creature. It's a sorcery payoff, right? We're gonna do like black, blue, instant, and sorcery. That's got to be a thing. At least when you have the mythic, right? I have no idea what the draft archetypes are. I'm going in not blind because I've seen the cards, but I'm going in relatively blind, I would say. There's a counter spell that makes a zombie token. Blade Brand's a great combat trick, although the tokens we make can't block, although it does cantrip. Siege Zombie is a way to take advantage of our tokens. That's a very pretty full art island. I do like that. Devious Cover Up, if we're doing like self mill, is a way to like recycle, and if you get multiple of them, you can recycle infinitely, provided you can keep countering stuff. I'm gonna take Flip the Switch. It doesn't seem fantastic, but it doesn't seem terrible. So it's a 2-mana 2/1 that when it dies, we can get a 1/2 flyer out of the grave. Novice Occultist is a 2-mana 1/2 that when it dies, you draw a card and lose a life. That's not bad. Play an instant or sorcery, or disturb cost. That doesn't seem bad either. I think I'm going to take another Flip the Switch, really. So let's see. Diregraph Horde, 5-mana 3/4 that makes 2 zombies with Decayed, and we can exile some cards from the graveyard. That seems decent. I don't want too many counter spells. I'm going to need some creatures, so we'll go with the Horde. So, from what I understand, at least having it described to me, the Decayed mechanic is fun to play with, because it's like it's almost like a burn spell that builds up on board, right? The idea is like you amass this army of Decayed tokens and then swing in for a huge amount of damage. Because when you attack with a Decayed token, you sacrifice it at the end of combat. And I'm really interested to play with it. There's a Grave Hate spell that also fixes mana color from the grave, which is cool. It's kind of like an egg in a way. It's kind of like a Chromatic Sphere Star mixed with like a, I don't know. There's a Scob Wrangler, which I think I'm going to take because we do have a lot of Decayed token generation. I would not mind a Revenge of the Drowned. That is a removal spell that also makes a token. That seems exactly like the kind of card we want to play. But I'm going to take the uncommon. And it also doesn't specify we have to tap zombies or anything like that. It just says tap creatures. So there's a little more utility there in the tapper. It's a non-mana cost for tapping that we, in theory, will be able to fill out pretty quickly. See, Shipwreck Sifters, 2-mana 1/2 Spirit, enters battlefield, draw, then discard. Whenever you discard a Spirit card or a card with Disturb, you put a 1/1 counter on it. It does not fly like most spirits do, so that's something to think about. That is a beautiful swamp. I love that swamp. Then there's a Gale Drifter, which is a 4-mana 3/2 flyer that you can get back from the grave for some rate. Yeah, I'll take the flyer, I think. Let's see. Organ Hoarder enters the battlefield. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 into your hand and the rest into your grave. That's good. So that's a 4-mana 3/2 that not Forbidden Alchemies, because Forbidden Alchemy would be 4 cards, but Forbidden Alchemy for 3 cards. It's not bad. I have no idea what our next splash color would be, because it looks like we're basically blue splashing black. So I'll take the sideboard-ish card. Okay, I like Duress. Raise the Effigy is probably more useful on average. Kind of looks like a Braid Light to me, but I'll take Duress. Blade Brand is fine. It's a cantrip. We're trying to do instant sorcery stuff, so like being able to draw an extra card seems useful. I'll take one of these islands. I might as well start collecting them, right? Yeah, I'll take a Plains and a Stolen Vitality. So we got a red card. Had the opportunity for more red cards, so red might be open. So maybe we start splashing some like red instants and sorceries if we get some burn spells. Oh wow. Okay, so let's see. Jadar, Ghoulcaller of Nephalia. It's a 2-mana 1/1. At the beginning of your end step, if you control no creatures with Decayed, make a zombie creature token with Decayed. So this is a like repeatable Decayed creature engine. That's a sack outlet. This is a draw engine for whenever it becomes night or day. There's a Raise Dead with Flashback, which seems like an excellent card to have in this, but I'm going to take the rare. Wake to the Slaughter. Choose up to 2 target creature cards in your graveyard. An opponent chooses one of them. Return that card to your hand, the other to the battlefield under your control. It gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step, and this has Flashback. That seems like something worth splashing, like a late game splash card. I do like that a lot. I don't think I'm missing too much else in this pack if I kind of speculate on that, so I'm going to take that. Let's see. In this pack, there's another No Way Out. There's another Flip the Switch. I think I would rather have the Mind Rot. Mind Rot might be of lesser use in this format because of all of the Disturb cards and cards with Flashback. That is something to think about. I think I still take the Mind Rot. Okay, Infernal Grasp. This is excellent removal. Exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and make a zombie creature token with Decayed on an instant. If I could get a couple more of those, I'd be happy. Whenever 1 or more other creatures die, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. That's not bad either, but I really want the unconditional removal. Like Olivia's Midnight Ambush is great, because it's about 50% of the time unconditional removal, right? But we'll take Infernal Grasp, I think. Whenever 1 or more non-token creatures die, make a zombie creature token with Decayed. This ability triggers only once each turn. That's not bad. Eaten Alive is great also, because Eaten Alive, we can exile a creature or planeswalker, so like if it has built-in recursion, we deal with it that way. This only triggers on non-token creatures dying, and we have mostly token creatures, but some non-token creatures. I think I'm going to take Eaten Alive. I think this is going to be of more value on average because of the amount of tokens we have. If we had more non-token creatures, or if those 2 cards weren't in the same pack and I didn't have to pick between them, I probably would have taken the enchantment. It is an uncommon versus a common, but it's a very high pick common. Let's see. Sacred Fire is a card I really like. It's a card that I'm intending on putting in Battle of Wits, the Jeskai Control Battle of Wits, because I think it's the next best Lightning Helix effect behind actual Lightning Helix. Let's see. Bat Whisperer. Enters the battlefield. If an opponent lost life this turn, make a 1/1 black bat creature token with flying. That seems excellent. Fits the token theme. Morkret Behemoth. I think I'm going to take Jack-o'-lantern, because Jack-o'-lantern, it cantrips. It can answer something from a grave, and it can filter mana from the grave. So I think that's actually really important if I want to play Wake to Slaughter. Another Scob Wrangler, another Duress. I think I'm going to take Revenge of the Drowned now, because this is like another pseudo-removal spell. It makes a token. It kind of delays. Blood Pact is a 3-mana instant speed Sign in Blood. What does Component Collector do? If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, you may tap or untap target non-land permanent. Or Crawl from the Cellar. I think I'm going to take Crawl from the cellar, actually. I think that's better than Blood Pact for us specifically. Okay, I don't mind Duress at all, but Stormrider Spirit might be the way to go here. It's a 5-mana 3/3 Flash Flyer, which is a stat line that blue gets occasionally. Duress is more of a sideboard card, so you can get another Flip the Switch. Gale Drifter, I do like Rotten Reunion. It's a 1-mana way to make tokens. It has flashback. It's an instant sorcery for Poppet Stitcher. I do like that a lot. I will take Gale Drifter, even though I love the pretty swamp. So I was thinking about re-recording the... because I think this video is probably going to go up on Sunday as a bonus video. And only because this is really a set release, draft. And my limited videos are a little bit not... or they're not as popular as my constructed videos, which is... I don't really want to put this in the slot that I would normally put a constructed video in. Let's see. Light Up the Night. What does this do? Deals X damage to any target. Deals X plus 1 damage if that target is a creature or planeswalker. Flashback. Remove X loyalty counters from planeswalkers you control. Okay. Search library for an artifact card with a mana ability or a basic land card. Reveal it and put it in your hand. So this is a splash card, which is pretty nice. I think I take an Organ Hoarder here. But because I played the higher power version of Mono Black Coffers Control for the Twitch stream, which I recommend, is a great league. If you don't normally watch my Twitch VODs, I recommend that you go back and watch that, especially if you're interested in the deck. It came out on Friday of the week. This video comes out on Sunday. I highly recommend you go back and watch it, especially if you were disappointed in how the other Coffers Control video turned out, because that version is way stronger and is what I will be experimenting with going forward. Definitely going to take an Eaten Alive here. Locked in the Cemetery, just being like a frost effect, is somewhat useful, but I think the actual just exile a creature is way better. See, Blood Tithe Collector enters the battlefield. If an opponent lost life this turn, each opponent discards a card. Ominous Roost enters the battlefield, or whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, make a 1/1 blue bird creature token with flying, and this creature can block only creatures with flying. Alright, I think I'm going to take that because it generates more tokens. So like if we ever flip Poppet Stitcher, we can just make all of our tokens 3/3s with no other abilities, which is pretty great. Blood Tithe Collector's not bad, forcing our opponent to discard. We have a lot of discard already, so like we could emphasize that if necessary, which could be good. Let's see, Drownyard Amalgam enters the battlefield. Target player mills 3 cards. Can't be blocked this turn. That's fine. I think I would rather have Rotten Reunion than Bladebrand, because Bladebrand only works... we're probably not going to be doing a lot of blocking. We're going to only be doing a lot of attacking, and I'm going to take Rotten Reunion for that reason. Hungry for More. Make a 3/1 black and red vampire creature token with trample, lifelink, and haste. Sack it at the beginning of the next end step with flashback. If we play Wake to Slaughter, this would be another good thing to splash, but I don't know that I want to actually start splashing red. I think I would rather have another Rotten Reunion. Firmament Sage draws a card whenever day becomes night or night becomes day. Crossroads Candle Guide. That's another way to filter mana if we wanted it. There is a Disperse effect that draws a card if we bounce a card we control. We don't have a lot of stuff that's worth bouncing, and we're going to be a lot of tokens. I almost want to take Firmament Sage to maybe draw some extra cards, but I think the Unsummon might be better. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Geist Wave. Vampire Interloper is a pretty aggressive creature. I think I'll take the uncommon Spirit with Flash here. It's kind of good to know that it seems like the strategy that I want to draft is open, which is fantastic. It's always a good place to feel like you're in when the colors you want to draft are very widely available. And like I said, I don't actually know what the draft archetypes are. It just seems like blue-black does a lot of tokeny things. And if you're going into a format where you don't know the draft archetypes, look at the uncommons and the rares in the Mythic if you open one. Because a lot of the times those will sort of inform what you can do. Mythics less so, because Mythics generally are meant for constructed. Not always, but sometimes. And so sometimes Mythics do something that you can really only do if you have 4 of the best rares, kind of a thing, in a deck is what it's meant for. So if you look at the uncommons, you can generally get an idea of what the and sometimes the rares. If you look at those cards, you can get an idea of what that color is supposed to be doing. And so if two colors happen to be open and you're looking at the uncommons, you can kind of guess, or should be able to guess, at what you should be looking for when you draft. You can use that to inform your decision. It looks like green. Nobody wants to play green and white. Sideboard. Silver Bolt. Deals 3 damage to target creature. If a werewolf is dealt damage this way, destroy. Yeah, I'll take that. Maybe I need that as like sideboard removal. Okay, I'm gonna put Duress into the sideboard. It's important to know that Rotten Reunion 2, we don't even have to exile a card. We exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. That's actually really good. So Novice Occultist. Yeah, I'll take Novice Occultist. Hungry for More is probably the pick, but I'm gonna put the Plains in the sideboard. Take the lands. I don't need these random commons. I'm gonna be doing a number of these drafts on my own time. Because that's one thing that I found that my new recording schedule allows me to do. I can enjoy Magic on my own time when I want to, and I think it's shown through in the last few videos that I've done. Less so because I had a bad day on the stream day, but like, yeah, it just seems like I can have more fun this way. So I'm gonna cut 1, maybe 2 Flip the Switch. Got to think about that for a minute. We have a lot of good removal. We have Infernal Grasp, Eaten Alive, a Bounce Spell, a Tuck Spell. I don't think I want Gale Drifter. Jadar might actually not be great because like, he is great if you have Puppet Stitcher flipped, because then you control no creatures with Decayed, and then it's just you get a zombie every turn. Well, you get a 3/3 with no abilities, right? Because you have nothing with Decayed. So like, that's a combo. Stormrider Spirit might be a little higher on the curve than we want to go. I do like Organ Hoarder. I'm going to cut Nebelgast Spirit. Because we're not playing a lot of spirits, I think I'm going to cut the Sifter. We do want to be majority like non-creature spells, I think, because a lot of our spells make half creatures, single-use half creatures, and I think that there's a lot of value in working with that. I don't really want Novice Occultist. I'll cut 1 more Flip the Switch. Maybe I don't need Crawl from the Cellar, but like, Puppet Stitcher, if it doesn't get exiled, I kind of want to buy it back, right? Jack-o'-lantern and Wake to Slaughter. I think this card is strong enough because it's technically some card advantage. We just have to be careful that we don't care about the creature getting exiled when we use it. I have to cut 1 card. It might be Diagraph Horde, actually. So we're running 8 creatures in Limited. I think 1 mountain is totally fine. I might want to do 2, actually. Because then we have 3 red sources with Jack-o'-lantern. And we don't have like any double color costs anywhere, so I think that's actually pretty reasonable. Alright, I'll see you guys in round 1. This is looking like a fun deck. Alright, so we are going to be on the draw for round 1. And I think this hand is okay. Okay, it looks like opponent is playing a humans deck. Pass the turn. Since we only have single color cost cards, and we're not going to be double spelling anytime soon. Oh, it's nice. He makes this on the end step. So like, if he's not answered at instant speed, he'll give you value, which is pretty sick. Opponent plays a Cathar Commando. I'm not willing to trade him off, not yet anyway. An opponent plays a Candlegrove Witch. Okay. We draw an island. So, go to combat. Attack for 2. Gets its Decayed trigger. Opponent no blocks. So we sack the token. And we're fine doing this because we're going to get it back. Play an island. Make a zombie token. And now I have Geist Wave. Opponent plays a Dawnheart Wardens. So I could deny them Coven if I bounce Candlegrove Witch, and then they can't replay it. If I bounce Dawnheart Wardens or Cathar Commando, they still get their Coven trigger and they'll still attack with the Candlegrove Witch. So I actually think bouncing this witch is what I should be doing here. And I think I'm actually okay trading now. So we draw a Rotten Reunion. Let's play an island, and I can either play Firmament Sage or Organ Hoarder. If I play Organ Hoarder, I get to replace a card in my hand, which is fine. I get to, start digging for better cards, and I have something that can contest this Dawnheart Wardens that might make them tap it to attack, which would be good. So I'm gonna take No Way Out, because Wake to the Slaughter has a flashback cost, and we have no red mana. If my opponent plays the Witch and taps the Organ Hoarder so that they can attack with Coven, we can No Way Out and take out the remaining 2 cards in their hand and get another zombie token. Okay. If they don't attack and they don't play anything else, we can still do that, and that's quite good. All right. Draw a Jack-o'-lantern. Let's go ahead and Mind Rot them because they have 2 cards left in their hand. Okay, they have a Wolf with Flash. So we're only making them discard 1 card, which was a Defend the Celestis. Okay, well, I mean, that's a pretty high value card. Play an island. Play a Jack-o'-lantern. Pass the turn. So this only filters mana from the grave. So I'm probably just going to exile a card from my opponent's graveyard to draw a card this turn with it. So they're going to tap our only creature that can block. We're taking a lot of damage here. So we kind of need to draw some removal. Get another Rotten Reunion. Untap and draw a Scob Wrangler. So if I play a Scob Wrangler, I can play a Rotten Reunion and a Rotten Reunion, which would be token, creature, and I could tap 2 attacking creatures. That actually seems pretty good. So play a Scob Wrangler, and then pass the turn. Actually, before this turn is over, I am going to exile their Cathar Commando, because I don't know if they can buy back creatures. I imagine in an Innistrad set, buying back creatures is going to be relatively easy. So opponent goes to combat. Let's get 1 more zombie. Tap the Dawnheart Wardens, and then tap the Bounding Wolf. So we're going to take 3 in the air here. We go to 3. And they play a Death Bonnet, Sprout. We untap and draw Revenge of the Drowned. So we can put a creature on the top or bottom of their grave, or the top or bottom of their deck, excuse me. I think I want to play out more creatures that can block. What is the most creatures I could put on board? I think we need to Organ Hoarder to try and hit a land here. We found a Crawl from the Cellar. Infernal Grasp, unfortunately, is not going to do very much because I can't afford to lose 2 life. This has Flashback. Let's get an island. Play an island. And pass the turn. So opponent taps our creature that can block. They mill a card on their upkeep, and it's Sigarda, Champion of Light. Let's go ahead and Rotten Reunion that. Opponent draws. They play a Gavany Silversmith. And they put a counter on Death Bonnet, Sprout, and the Trapper. So they go to combat. We have to tap the creature with flying, or we die. We need to end up blocking 1 and tapping another, and we can't actually do that, I think. Yeah, we're dead. Okay, cool. I learned some stuff. First off, if I'm going to draft this deck and I get the opportunity for more than 1 of these, I'm definitely taking them. That is an absolute certainty. I'm going to bring in some more creatures, and I'm going to drop Flip the Switch. I'll bring in a flyer. The loot doesn't seem bad. Not sure what it's better than, though. I'll just run 41 cards. I'll play first. This hand is very slow, so I'm going to mulligan. Okay. I'm alright with this, and I'm going to put back Bat Whisperer, I think. So we can use Blade Brand just to cycle. So lead on a swamp. Opponent plays a Plains. So make a token. Untap. We draw Delver. Alright. Play Delver. Pass the turn. We can still make a token and be mana efficient, which is nice. There's no reason to attack with these tokens. We would rather assemble a critical mass. Okay, opponent plays a Candle Grove Witch. So, Rotten Reunion, exile nothing. Untap. Delver of Secrets. We will not reveal an island. Draw the island. Play the island. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Plains. They go to combat and attack. Now I could trade if I use Blade Brand on Delver here. That would slow my opponent down pretty significantly, but it might just be a waste. We'll just take the 2, I think. Yeah, I would much rather Blade Brand against that. So let's go ahead and Rotten Reunion, make a token. Untap. Another island. Oh no, the Curse of Delver. Play a swamp. Pass the turn. So now if my opponent attacks with Dawnheart Wardens, I will Blade Brand to trade with it. Opponent plays a forest. And I play Sigarda. Wow, okay. So we're going to have some trouble unless we can answer that. Okay, opponent attacks. We are going to block. And Blade Brand. We're really hoping to draw our exile card, but it doesn't look like that's what's going to happen here. So let's exile Dawnheart Wardens. Just keep making tokens. We untap. We draw an Infernal Grasp, which is pretty good. Play Scob Wrangler. And I'm going to kill Sigarda now while I have the opportunity. I don't want them to have some kind of protection spell. Opponent untaps and draws. Plays another Dawnheart Wardens. They go to combat, so we tap the Candle Grove Witch. Then we untap. Draw another land, which is not really what we want. I'm going to hold that in hand for a minute. Maybe I should have taken the Sign in Blood. Opponent attacks us for 2. I could trade, but I think that would be suicide. Opponent plays another Candle Grove Witch. We're bricking pretty hard. Pass the turn. We're absolutely not incentivized to attack with these zombie tokens at all. And they play a Tireless Hauler. Okay, so we tap the Dawnheart Wardens to mitigate the most damage. We're still taking half of our life total here. Okay, go to 5. Alright, we scoop it up. That is unfortunate, but we flooded pretty hard there. We had a ton of action in the early game and like a payoff for it. We even answered a mythic, but like just didn't have enough sustain, so maybe I need to be drafting a little more card advantage if I take an archetype like this, or I'm unsure. For a first whack at it, did seem that bad. I think the green-white humans deck is probably a little more straightforward aggro, though. Alright, round 2. And I'm going to keep this. I'm not going to play Rotten Reunion right away, because we do have Jadar. And if I have a Decayed token, obviously I won't get any benefit from playing him right away. We draw Delver. Pass the turn. Make a token. Opponent plays an island. We untap and draw Crawl from the cellar. So, go to combat. Attack for 3. Opponent no blocks. Okay. So I think what we're going to do... I have a suspicion they may have a Flip the Switch. If they do, playing Delver is our best bet, because then we could immediately crawl from the cellar to get it back. Otherwise, playing Ominous Roost is better if they don't. I'm going to try the Delver line here. Okay. In that case, we'll just play an island and pass. Make a zombie. Opponent plays a Hobbling Zombie, a 3-mana 2/2 with Death Touch that dies and makes a Decayed token. We untap. Delver of Secrets reveals Infernal Grasp. We draw Infernal Grasp. Play a Swamp, go to combat, and attack for 5. I actually really like Decayed as a mechanic. Like, I understand it's a downside mechanic, but it allows them to get it allows you as the player to get tokens much cheaper than you otherwise would normally. I'm gonna play Ominous Roost, so I can maybe start getting some value out of that. But, like, having this guy is discouraging me from making tokens in the short term, right? Because I want to keep getting value out of him as much as I can. But in the long term, I think that's the way we want to go, because we're doing value stuff. Opponent locks Delver in the Cemetery, which is actually worse for us. We draw Rotten Reunion. Okay. So let's go to combat. Attack, attack. But, like, it allows you to get tokens cheaper, and it doesn't have the downside of board stalling the game as much. Like, the game continues progressing is what I'm trying to say. Okay, we get our token back. Opponent plays a Swamp. They play a Blade-Stitched Scob. They go to combat. They attack us for 3. We're not going to block. So we're going to... I guess I could have done this. I was thinking about using Revenge of the Drowned here, but... The other option was, like, playing Rotten Reunion and then flashing back Rotten Reunion. Okay, we draw a Wake to Slaughter. Go to combat. And, like, even when I make, like, 1 or 2 extra tokens, because they get sacked, like, and I just get 1 back, that's really strong. So, like, I don't even think I should have been discouraged from making extra tokens. I should have just been making them anyway to get an extra damage. Alright. Yeah, pass the turn. Opponent goes to combat and attacks. I don't know really why they're attacking. Unless they have a spell that makes us discard. Or a spell that does something if we lost life. Morkrut Behemoth. So they make a zombie with Decayed. Then they get a 7/6. And then we put the 7/6 back on top of their deck. And now they still only have 1 blocker. And we're being very, very rude. I think they're actually dead. Because we make a zombie token, they can block the zombie token, and then they take 4 from our other attackers. Nice. Wow, this really changes about, like, how you do the math in your head. I love it. I actually really like that. It's a fun play pattern. So I'm going to drop the counter spell, and I'm going to run, I think, the Diregraph Horde. That's fun. It's not like a crazy powerful mechanic, but stuff doesn't have to be crazy powerful to be fun. And that's one thing I've always really liked about zombies. This is potentially really strong, but we need to draw black mana. Opponent leads on a Larder Zombie. Tap 3 untapped creatures you control. Look at the top card of your library. You may put it... Okay. We draw Delver of Secrets, which really is not a bad draw here. I would have preferred a Swamp, but this is fine. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Swamp. Foul Play. Destroy target creature power 2 or less and investigate. Okay. We draw a Swamp, which is pretty reasonable here. I could deny them a draw by bouncing the clue token. I don't think that's good, though. Yeah, we'll just pass. I'm probably going to put a Rotten Reunion in the grave, exiling their Foul Play, so we can set up for, like, an Ominous Roost, start flashing back Rotten Reunion stuff. But there's some circumstance under which I may cast a Geist Wave. Covetous Castaway. When it dies, mill 3 cards. Oh, this has Defender. It's not even an attacker. It just blocks a single token quite well. Okay. We untap. Draw an island. Let's see. When it enters the battlefield, you may shuffle up to 3 cards from your graveyard into your library. So if we Eaten Alive this Covetous Castaway, there's not going to be a spirit to come back from the grave. That's fun. This is fun. I like this format already. When we get our bird token, pass the turn. This card's also better than I thought it would be because it makes a token when it enters the battlefield. So it's not just one of those, like, do-nothing payoff enchantments. It has an immediate impact on the board, which is really nice for an engine card. Even for one that's, like, limited only, not as strong. I do like that quite a bit. Okay, so I have to choose between casting Eaten Alive or casting Rotten Reunion this turn. And I kind of want to get rid of the life loss engine. I think I'm going to exile Covetous Castaway by sacking my zombie with Decayed. I could wait 1 turn. Alright, we'll go to combat. Attack for 1 in the air. Because if I wait 1 turn and draw a black source, I don't have to sack anything, which is nice. And that lets me leave up, like, Geist Wave if I want to bounce Ominous Roost to protect it. That would draw me a card. That lets me leave up, like, Graveyard Exile cards, which could be relevant against my opponent. Okay, they make us lose a life. They untap. They draw. They sack the clue to draw. They go to combat, and they pass. Okay. We'll flashback Rotting Reunion. Or Rotten Reunion. Get a bird. Get a zombie. I could actually bounce a zombie if I wanted to just draw a card here. I'm actually going to bounce this Ominous Roost and just replay it for value. We get a Crawl from the cellar. That can get back Delver of Secrets and make one of our zombie tokens temporarily bigger. We get a Mountain. So play a Mountain. Replay Ominous Roost. Get a bird. Go to combat. Attack for 2 in the air. I'm still not sure what I would exile here. My gut tells me that, like, Covetous Castaway is, like, potentially stronger, but I think the repeated life loss is going to be the most annoying thing. I don't want to Rotten Reunion. We're going to Eaten Alive, exiling Siege Zombie, and sack a token. Because, like, the Decayed Zombie tokens are basically just free. They feel free. They're not free, but they feel free. They're so low cost that they may as well be free. They are as free as the change you get back whenever you spend physical dollars on something. It's like you're still getting some kind of value. Where, like, before, it was like every merchant couldn't give you change. It was whatever, dollar bill, that was what it cost. I don't know if that's an apt metaphor or not, but it feels like it. So play a Swamp. Go to combat. Attack for 3 in the air. Opponent cannot block. They take 3 and go to 14. Man, I might do an additional stream this week just to play this format for people. But it plays a land and passes. Do they even have anything? Like, what's going on over there? Let's make a zombie. Flash this back. Make another zombie, or make another zombie and make another bird. I think we found the blue-black archetype. The blue-black archetype is all these cheap black spells with flashback in combination with Ominous Roost. I think that is the actual thing you should be doing. So go to combat. Caw. Hit them for 4. Wow. It's like actual removal spell on a 1/1 bird token. That was like 1/5 of a card for 1. We effectively 5 for 1 to our opponent. That's pretty sick. So let's go ahead and play a Diregraph Horde, make a bunch of zombies, and we're just gonna get this big zombie swing to end the game with. That's what's gonna be even doper about this. Does anyone say that anymore? Say dope? No, I'm the only one? Alright. We'll exile the card out of the grave. Like, I'm exiling their grave constantly. They haven't played a whole lot, but, like, we can even pick up Delver of Secrets and put a counter on Diregraph Horde, and then replay Delver of Secrets and have another flyer. And then, like, if anything dies that's an actual creature, we can flash this back and get another bird. The value is just delicious. And I mean, my opponent's not really doing anything, but, like, have we even, like, dropped a mana at this point? Like, we've used almost all of our mana every turn because we have all these cheap spells with flashback that are advancing a game plan. It just feels awesome. Flying Carriage, Phantom Carriage is a 6 mana 4/4 with flyer. When it enters battlefield, search your library for a card with flashback or disturb, put it in your graveyard, and then shuffle. So we untap. We reveal Jadar. I mean, we don't want to reveal it. Alright, so we do the big swing, right? Just go to combat, hit them with everybody. And, like, they can block 2 Decayed tokens, but they're taking a minimum of... Because I imagine they block here, then they block 2 Decayed tokens. And they're taking a ton of damage. We lose all of our Decayed tokens. And then we get it back because of Jadar, and we get another bird. And if they were to kill Delver, we could just buy back Delver. Delicious. They go to 1. I don't know how they come back from this. Yeah, okay. We lose all our zombies. That's fine. Play our zombie-making machine. So they can exile Crawl from the cellar, which is unfortunate, because we don't have any actual creatures in the grave. We have 3 lethal birds and a grand total of 7 lethal creatures. I love this deck. This is so cool to me. Locked in the cemetery. Alright. You locked the zombie in the cemetery. But, like, what else? How are you going to answer the rest of this? You'd need, like, a Curse of Death's Hold, which isn't even in this format. They locked a bird in the cemetery. How do you lock a bird in the cemetery? Alright, Delver. Nice. Oh, that was awesome. I love how these mechanics line up. This is so much fun for me. I'm going to be playing more of this. I'm probably just going to stream this because I enjoy playing it so much. I love it. Like, I don't even care if I win or lose. This is just so much fun to play. Alright, round 3. I mean, we have a 2-drop and a 3-drop. We don't have our primary value engine, but, like, we have a delay tactic, basically. We're playing a 2-drop into holding up a counter spell, which I'm kind of okay with. We have all 3 colors of our mana. We don't have double colors of anything, so... Play an island, pass the turn. They play an Ecstatic Awakener. We draw Wake to Slaughter. Play Scob Wrangler. And then pass the turn. Opponent plays a Forest, and they're playing black-green. That's interesting. They hit us for 1. We don't block. Then they play a Pestilent Wolf, which is a 2/2 they can give Death Touch. We draw another Swamp. This card is very high value, but I actually think I want to trade it if they're willing. Okay, they're not willing. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Forest, Morbid Opportunist. That is a draw engine and is worth flipping the switch on. They attack us for 3. So we take 3. We untap. We draw another Swamp. So, play the Swamp. Do we attack with a Decayed guy here? We might want to play Organ Hoarder or Firmament Sage just to try and get more value. I think we attack with the Scob Wrangler and play Firmament Sage. Because this way, if my opponent wants to activate one of their creature's abilities, yeah, we're going to take more damage, but then it becomes night. We end up drawing a card. They go to combat. They attack for 3. No blocks. It might have been worth trading with the wolf there. Okay, this I thought had activate only as a sorcery, so I'm glad it does not. Or, I mean, I'm glad that I'm glad I reread it and didn't block it. Okay, we draw Infernal Grasp. Then we draw Jadar. So, go to combat. Attack, attack. Decayed trigger. We lose our zombie. But then we play Jadar, and we'll almost immediately get it back. Then we can tap and block, and we even have Infernal Grasp backup. Oh, this feels like a game we might win. So they're going to kill our Firmament Sage, which is a little unfortunate, but okay. Opponent untaps. So they go to combat. They do not attack. I mean, if they do attack, I'm actually going to block Ecstatic Awakener with Jadar because we have the kill spell. I'd prefer they try and sack the Pestilent Wolf to keep this alive, because then we could kill effectively 2 things with Infernal Grasp. Alright. As long as they don't have an indestructibility combat trick, this should be fine. Nice! We untap. We draw Jack-o'-lantern. So, play Organ Hoarder. I'm going to put Poppet Stitcher in my hand because I don't want them to see it. Play Jack-o'-lantern. Go to combat. Attack with everybody. So we lose the zombie token, then we get back a zombie token. Opponent plays a land. Plays a Dawnheart Rejuvenator, gains some life. The 4-mana 2/4, gain 3 life, tap for any color. Last time I remember seeing one of those was in War of the Spark. We draw an island. So let's go ahead and exile to draw. Get a land. Well, we can play an island. We can actually just tap this and hit them for 3, and I think that's what we're going to do. I think I actually might need to play Poppet Stitcher here. I would prefer to save it and not show them that I have a Mythic, but I'm thinking I might actually need it to win. Opponent Blood Pacts to draw cards. They're down to 5. And then plays a Grizzly Ghoul. Oh, I love it. Zombie Bear. Grizzly. There's a double entendre there. We untap. We draw a Swamp. So, play a Swamp. We'll go ahead and Wake to Slaughter. Get a zombie. So opponent picks which one goes to our hand and which one goes to the battlefield. Play Delver. So then we can... Yep. Nice! I was going to say we can tap with all the stuff we're not going to attack with and then just swing out. Oh, it's awesome! This deck is great. I didn't know how to play it at first. I had an idea, and it was totally wrong. I might want Silver Bolt here, but I think I'm just gonna run it back. This is so much fun. I enjoy this format a lot. I don't know how long it'll last, because like once it gets figured out, probably there'll be a best deck, and then like everybody will try and like force that, and you know you'll have to like do some meta drafting, and then it won't be as fun. But I highly recommend if you haven't played it yet, but definitely by the time this video comes out, give it a go. I love the format. This is great. I get to play with zombies again too. It's so much fun. All right. Unfortunately, I don't think we can keep this because we would very specifically need to draw like an island and then an island. Like if we drew island, if the top two cards of our deck were just islands, I would definitely keep. But I don't think we can make this work, even with all of the 1-drops. I think that would be too much. Well, is it too much greed? Let's see. Did they mulligan? They kept 7. We better mulligan. All right, we'll make it work. Put back an island. This hand is way better. I wish I could have kept the first hand, because like we had our mythic, we had 1-drop, we had removal, we had a 2-drop. I had tons of value, but all right, we drew our Eaten Alive, so let's play an island, pass the turn. We untap, draw another island, play a swamp. We'll play Scav Wrangler. I suspect my opponent is just going to Silver Bolt the Wrangler. Foul play. Why wouldn't you Silver Bolt that? I guess foul play was a sorcery. I guess that makes sense. All right, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Shadow Beast Sighting. I'm going to deny them the 4/4. Hopefully, I have so many things that exile stuff from the grave. I should be able to get that before they can flash it back. Do we got to flip the switch? So we can either play Organ Hoarder, or we can play Flip the Switch. I'm going to play Organ Hoarder, because that, like, potentially gets us multiple cards. So I can take the Swamp here. I'm actually probably going to take Poppet Stitcher, because Rotten Reunion has flashback. Pass the turn. So this way, if they just shoot the Organ Hoarder, we can play Poppet Stitcher. If we draw a land, we can play Poppet Stitcher and flashback Rotten Reunion, taking out their flashback spell. And it would be sick. No! You can't just take out my flashback spells. That's what I was going to do to you. We draw Crawl from the cellar. Okay, so let's play Poppet Stitcher, Eaten Alive, exile the Diregraph Horde, sack the Organ Hoarder, get a zombie. So I'm expecting them to use the Quiver, which will then let me crawl from the cellar. Weird sentence. Don't take that out of comment. Don't take that out of context. Okay, they kill the Stitcher. They have their own decayed tokens. We draw Blade Brand. So pick up the Stitcher, counter on the token. Replay the Stitcher, pass the turn. And honestly, if I can flip him, I might just flip him. They're going to crack the clue to draw. Oh, if you control 3 or more tokens, so I can't flip him yet. Okay, he does have a condition, that's worth knowing. Really hope they can't flashback Shadow Beast Sighting. Although I do have Revenge of the Drowned could answer the token. They attack for 4. Why on earth would I block? They lose their guys. And then they play a Grisly Ghoul for each creature that died this turn. Nice. So we draw an Ominous Roost. Do we take a hit from that with instant or sorceries? Okay, we're going to pass and leave up Revenge of the Drowned / Flip the Switch. Okay, opponent plays a Forest. If they flashback here, I will flip the switch. They're going to Blood Pact, and I can't counter that, so that's fine. They lose some life, they get some cards. They go to combat. They attack for 6. Yeet the zombie bear into the ocean. Make a zombie. Make a zombie. In theory. This could still get countered in some way. Like, they could give it hexproof somehow. It's generally what green does. They play a Bird Admirer. 1/4 reach with... Okay. So we untap. We will transform. We draw Swamp. So play a Swamp. Go to combat. Attack for 10. These creatures no longer have Decayed, which is awesome. Oh, and we can even... delicious. Blade Brand. And I could Mind Rot them, but I think the counterspell is stronger. They play a land. They flashback Shadow Beast Sighting, finally. Tireless Hauler. Well, no. Oh, it's so brutal. Oh, get crushed under the weight of the Mythic. Oh, that was awesome. Oh, that was so awesome. This format is so much fun to play. I highly recommend it. If you like this content, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays in the afternoon, sometimes the evening, and we're looking at maybe doing some extra streams specifically so I can play Midnight Hunt, because if I'm just going to be sitting around on my own time playing it, if I feel up to streaming, I might as well stream it. Seems like a lot of fun. So, yeah, you're all wonderful human beings. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye! Hey, just wanted to give a shout out to my patrons for the month of September. You guys have been a huge help, greatly supporting the channel and allowing me to acquire new cards. And if you want to have your name in this list and get a shout out at the end of the video, there's a link to the Patreon in the description down below. Thank you.